Human connection is rarely defined solely by words. Often the most revealing messages are communicated silently, through posture, gestures, micro-expressions, and subtle touches. Women, like men, navigate the world with a keen awareness of intent and energy, and they unconsciously broadcast signals about their comfort, trust, and willingness to connect. Yet many men overlook these cues, distracted by surface-level charm, words, or appearances. Understanding these hidden signals is not about manipulation or tricks. It's about cultivating awareness and emotional intelligence. It's about noticing the difference between casual interactions and moments of genuine openness. When a woman allows someone closer, through proximity, shared gestures, or small touches, she is signaling trust, vulnerability, and the potential for a deeper connection. Most men miss these subtle invitations because they lack patience or fail to read the language of comfort and consent. Recognizing and responding to these cues can change the dynamics of any relationship. It allows a man to be present, attuned, and responsive in a way that fosters trust and emotional safety. In short, the ability to notice what is not said can open doors that words alone never could. When a woman says, "I'm fine," it often isn't the whole story. Words can mask feelings, intentionally or unconsciously, while the body reveals the truth. A slight shift in posture, a fleeting glance, the tension in her hands, or the way she positions herself can communicate discomfort, excitement, trust, or caution far more accurately than spoken language. The key is learning to read these non-verbal cues without judgment or assumption. Most men focus on what is said, missing the subtle context in which words are delivered. Emotional honesty is often communicated through micro-movements rather than statements. For example, leaning slightly forward, allowing space to be shared, or even the small gesture of brushing against someone's arm can indicate trust and openness. Conversely, crossing arms, averting gaze, or subtle withdrawal signals the need for space or emotional safety. Decoding these cues requires patience, awareness, and empathy. It's not about over-analyzing every movement, but about noticing patterns and responding thoughtfully. The goal is to align your presence with her emotional state, matching energy, offering calm reassurance, and demonstrating understanding. By valuing what the body says alongside the words spoken, a man gains insight into true feelings, creating a foundation for authentic connection and trust. There is a subtle, almost invisible gesture that signals a woman's willingness to let someone closer emotionally. This is not about physical intimacy or surface-level attraction. It is about access to her inner world, her thoughts, fears, and personal space. When she allows a man into this sphere, she is offering a rare form of trust, one that goes beyond casual interaction and hints at the potential for a deeper connection. Most men overlook this subtle gateway because they are distracted by overt flirtation words, or outward charm. Yet the gestures that matter most are often small. A hand lightly brushing a shoulder, a brief pause in conversation where she leans closer, or the way she positions herself in proximity. These actions are not random. They are instinctive signals of comfort and trust, showing that she feels safe enough to let her guard down. Recognizing this requires mindfulness. It's a quiet observation, a conscious awareness of her comfort level, and an understanding that emotional access is a privilege, not a right. How a man responds in these moments can either strengthen the bond or create distance. Responding with attentiveness, patience, and respect amplifies trust, while rushing, ignoring, or misreading the gesture can close the door entirely. This subtle gateway is a test, not of confidence, dominance, or charm, but of emotional intelligence. It distinguishes men who are capable of forming genuine connections from those who are merely tolerated. By noticing and honoring these quiet invitations, a man positions himself as someone safe, reliable, and attuned, setting the stage for meaningful and lasting emotional bonds. The language of trust is rarely spoken. It is felt. Women communicate comfort, interest, and openness through subtle signals, micro-gestures, body orientation, and small touches. These cues are often fleeting and easy to miss, yet they carry profound meaning. Understanding them requires careful observation and a sensitivity that goes beyond superficial attraction. Proximity is a key indicator. When a woman leans closer, lightly touches your arm, or allows space to be shared, she is expressing comfort and trust. Conversely, when she maintains distance, steps back, or subtly turns away, it signals caution or the need for personal space. Micro-gestures, such as tilting her head, adjusting her posture, or the way she engages her eyes, can reveal her true emotional state. These are the nuances that most men overlook. Touch, when given, is another powerful indicator, but it is rarely a casual gesture. A hand briefly resting on yours, a pat on the shoulder, or brushing against your arm often carries a deeper message. She trusts you enough to be physically and emotionally present. Responding appropriately requires awareness, patience, and respect. Overstepping or misreading these gestures can quickly turn comfort into discomfort, while careful attention and mirroring can strengthen the emotional connection. Reading these signs is not about analyzing every movement obsessively. It is about being present, noticing patterns, and aligning your energy with hers. When a man observes and responds thoughtfully, he communicates that he values her comfort and emotional safety. This attentiveness is what differentiates someone she truly trusts from someone who simply occupies her space temporarily. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of meaningful connection. It is the ability to perceive, understand, and respond to another person's emotions with sensitivity and care. In interactions with women, this skill becomes crucial. It allows a man to interpret subtle cues, respect boundaries, and cultivate trust without relying on charm or superficial gestures. Women often communicate their comfort, curiosity, or hesitation through micro-expressions, posture, and tone, signals that can easily be missed by those who are not attuned. A man with high emotional intelligence notices these signs and adjusts his behavior accordingly. He doesn't rush or pressure. He listens with his eyes and responds with presence. By doing so, he reinforces safety and demonstrates that her comfort is more important than his immediate desires. Emotional intelligence also shapes how a man handles vulnerability. When a woman allows access to her inner world, her fears, thoughts, or private space, it is a test of his awareness, patience, and integrity. Responding impulsively or carelessly can close that door instantly. Conversely, responding with calm attentiveness signals reliability and empathy, deepening trust and creating a foundation for a lasting bond. Moreover, emotional intelligence is not passive. It involves active engagement, observing subtle patterns, reflecting on the meaning behind gestures, and consciously aligning one's behavior with her emotional state. This alignment fosters a sense of harmony, making her feel understood without words. Ultimately, men who master emotional intelligence are remembered not just for their presence, but for the rare sense of safety, attentiveness, and emotional resonance they bring. Trust is the cornerstone of any meaningful connection, and it is earned gradually, often through subtle, consistent signals rather than grand gestures. Women, like all people, are naturally cautious in sharing their inner world. This caution is informed by experience, intuition, and an acute awareness of intentions. The moments when she allows a man closer are deliberate. They indicate that she perceives safety, reliability, and emotional alignment. The psychology behind trust involves both conscious and subconscious processes. When a woman senses that someone respects her boundaries and responds to her comfort, her brain releases hormones associated with bonding and emotional security. This is why emotional trust can feel almost instantaneous, even in small interactions. Her body recognizes safety before her words fully express it. Conversely, misreading cues or responding insensitively triggers caution, withdrawal, or emotional distance. Recognizing the significance of trust means understanding that access to her inner world is a privilege, not a right. It is a test of emotional maturity, patience, and attentiveness. Men who respond with respect and awareness reinforce the sense that they are reliable and safe, while those who overlook or exploit signals quickly lose the opportunity to form a deep connection. Ultimately, the psychology of trust explains why subtle gestures matter more than overt declarations. Emotional access is rarely given lightly, and when it is, it carries weight. Understanding this dynamic allows a man to approach relationships with the mindfulness and care necessary to build a lasting, Patience is one of the most critical qualities in building trust and emotional connection. When a woman allows someone into her personal space or signals comfort, it is not an invitation to rush or escalate. Emotional access requires careful attention to timing. Responding too quickly can feel pushy, while responding too slowly can make her question whether her gesture was noticed at all. Timing is closely tied to awareness. A man who observes her energy, adjusts to her pace, and responds with calm attentiveness communicates that he values her comfort above his own impulses. He demonstrates that he can meet her where she is emotionally, rather than imposing his own agenda. This measured response builds reassurance and allows her to feel secure in sharing more of herself over time. Patience also involves accepting that trust grows gradually. Small gestures, repeated attentiveness, and consistent respect matter far more than dramatic displays of affection or confidence. Each subtle interaction is an opportunity to reinforce safety and reliability. Conversely, impatience or visible urgency can trigger withdrawal, closing the door on potential connection. By mastering patience and timing, a man signals emotional intelligence and maturity. He shows that he can navigate vulnerability without fear or pressure. Over time, these qualities transform fleeting interactions into lasting bonds, creating a foundation of trust and understanding that many men never achieve. Respect is the foundation of any genuine connection. When a woman allows a man into her personal space or shares subtle gestures of comfort, it is a sign of trust, not a signal of entitlement. Understanding and honoring her boundaries is essential to maintaining that trust and deepening emotional connection. Boundaries are communicated in many ways, through posture, micro-expressions, tone, or subtle physical distance. A respectful response requires attentiveness to these signals, adjusting behavior immediately when she shows hesitation or discomfort. It is about allowing her to lean in or withdraw without judgment, and recognizing that comfort is a choice she grants, not a guarantee. Respect also means valuing her emotional state over one's own desires. A man who prioritizes her comfort demonstrates reliability, empathy, and maturity. This creates an environment where she feels safe to reveal her thoughts, fears, and personal experiences. Conversely, ignoring boundaries or pressing too quickly can break trust, turning openness into distance. In addition, respecting boundaries extends to emotional communication. Listening attentively, responding thoughtfully, and avoiding assumptions show that a man recognizes her autonomy and values her perspective. By consistently honoring these limits, he positions himself as someone dependable and considerate, a person she can trust over time. Ultimately, respect is not passive. It is an active practice of observing, adapting, and prioritizing her comfort. Men who master this create bonds built on trust, safety, and emotional alignment, setting themselves apart from those who fail to recognize the significance of subtle gestures. Mirroring and alignment are powerful tools for building emotional connection. They involve reflecting a person's energy, tone, and subtle gestures in a way that communicates empathy and attentiveness. When a woman senses that her comfort, mood, and pace are being respected, she experiences a sense of understanding that goes beyond words. This doesn't mean imitation. It means conscious observation and gentle synchronization. A man may notice the way she leans, her gestures, or the rhythm of her speech, and adjust his presence to match hers. By doing so, he communicates that he is fully present, attuned, and engaged, someone who notices the details that matter. Mirroring also reinforces trust. Subtle alignment demonstrates that he is responsive to her comfort and emotional state, not imposing his own agenda. This creates a feedback loop. She feels safe, he continues to respond mindfully, and the bond strengthens naturally. Conversely, failing to align, appearing distracted, overbearing, or disconnected, can disrupt comfort and inhibit emotional closeness. The practice of alignment fosters deeper understanding and builds rapport at a subconscious level. It signals reliability, emotional intelligence, and respect for her boundaries. Over time, consistent awareness and alignment establish a connection that feels natural, effortless, and secure. A connection that goes beyond surface-level attraction and leaves a lasting impression. In short, mirroring and alignment are subtle reinforcements of trust. They show that a man is attentive, responsive, and emotionally intelligent, creating a safe space where a woman can gradually reveal her true self. Emotional responsiveness is the subtle skill that separates fleeting interactions from lasting connections. It is the ability to notice, interpret, and respond appropriately to a woman's unspoken cues, her gestures, expressions, and energy, without overwhelming or misreading them. This responsiveness signals that a man is attuned, reliable, and emotionally present. The invisible edge lies in understanding that emotional access is a privilege. When she allows a man closer, through a touch, a shared space, or subtle signals, he is being given responsibility, not entitlement. How he reacts in that moment determines whether trust deepens or diminishes. Calm, thoughtful, and aligned responses reinforce safety and encourage her to share more of herself over time. Men who succeed in emotional responsiveness are observant rather than impulsive. They read patterns, anticipate needs, and adjust their behavior to support comfort and security. They mirror energy, maintain patience, and validate her feelings without needing words. This creates an almost subconscious bond where she associates him with safety, understanding, and emotional resonance. By contrast, men who overlook or misread these cues often push too fast or fail to notice significance, causing the emotional door to close. True responsiveness is quiet yet profound. It signals maturity, attentiveness, and respect. Over repeated interactions, this skill builds a level of trust and connection that most men never achieve, leaving a lasting impression that goes far beyond mere attraction.